I'm Dan Wolf. Welcome back to the channel. Got to give a big shout out to my buddy Creative123. Actually commented on the last video a little bit ago, and he said also, speaking for the Timberwolf fans out there, that tree heavy space between the Manor, Thunder Falls, and Country Fair feels like it's just waiting for something. A small classic out and back woody, maybe called Outlaw Run or Escape from Bigfoot, would be the perfect fit escaping through the forest and mines. It could feel like the first coaster the park ever bought, perhaps. Picture a small GCI or something in the spirit of Holiday World's The Raven, Prowler, or Mystic Timbers, dipping through the forest with tunnels, rock work, mine shafts, and all tying in to Thunder Falls' wild frontier vibe. Station nestled in the trees, entrance through the new section, and the ride just peeking above the tree line as guests arrive, snaking alongside the roadside front of the park. It'd be an awesome tribute to Timberwolf and a great way to boost the attraction count in that area. I could see it going either out and back alongside roadside to backside, or even the front side with the enclosed western turnaround like Kings Island's Mystic Timbers to fit in with the park. And I thought that was an insanely fun idea. Tweaked the kind of like the layout a little bit, what he was talking about. But yeah, this was just a big giant set of woods. I didn't really know what to do with it. That's why I covered it up in woods. And you guys always have good suggestions. Some people were saying that maybe we need a restaurant over here. And when we jump into the real time, I'll actually show you a little spot that I'm thinking could fit kind of as Thunder Falls restaurant area. And I think what's so fun, particularly about the log flume project, is it's almost spun its own land, like Thunder Falls is now with an accompanying wooden coaster. It's almost like, yeah, it's its own land now, and that's what's so cool about theming this area. And now I will say, you guys know from before, I am pretty trash about making coasters, so if this is your first time here, you know, don't let yourself go puke in a wastebasket or be like, what in the world is this guy doing? You know, coaster design is not my strongest suit, but I feel like this is a good one. Like, I feel when we get in here and you guys see what I actually ended up making happen, I think you guys are going to be kind of proud of me. This was one of those coasters where I was like, I don't want to bring in a blueprint. Everybody's going to ride me about that. I want a real Dan coaster. And that is, you know, we are building the ride count here at Wilderness Springs. And, you know, it's one of those things where I just keep, you know, if you haven't been around for a long time, this is like Wilderness Springs 2.0. When this park first finished, it didn't have any of this. It was such a sloppy, disrespectful finish to the park. And now that we're kind of jumping back in and it's having its little, you know, its revamp moment, I'm just tickled to death with what we've been coming up with for this park. So this is, I think it's ever evolving. I think in a sense, Wilderness Springs will always kind of be my firstborn. It'll always be my baby park. And I think as long as Frontier keeps putting out, you know, updates and DLCs and bringing in new themes, I think I almost think it's a project we'll always come back to. I really think it's going to be one of those parks that is never finished. I think we'll always, the only problem I see is the stuff we're doing nowadays is coming out so cool. It's going to become harder and harder for us to delete stuff, unfortunately. And, you know, so maybe we will get to a time where it's like, okay, we're going to do this send off. Wilderness Springs is what we want it to be, and I don't want to come in and delete anything. But you never know. These games are kind of weird like that. But yeah, this is just, I kind of started it out with a little bit of Thunderhead vibe. You know how they kind of exit the station and kind of circle back underneath and hit the chain lift. And that's just kind of what I wanted to go with this. I wanted to keep that almost GCI spirit. Nothing major. It's not like a big, giant, massive wooden coaster, but you know, it's one that I think just fits the whole vibe of Wilderness Springs, and particularly Thunder Falls very, very well. Like I said, I probably, if you watch this in real time, the actual raw footage, this only took about an hour and 10 minutes. And it's crazy to think that, you know, this isn't something that, you know, of course I haven't done the station or anything yet. I kind of wanted to jump in and get your guys' feedback, and, you know, before I really go ham on this and kind of finish the, you know, start the station and do the queue. You know, I think a project like this, the first thing that comes to my mind, the first thing I worry about is, does it encroach too much on Thunder Falls? Is it essentially stealing the thunder from the log flume ride? And now that I'm finished with the layout, and I think once we get into the real time, I think when you guys see it in person, I think it only complements the area. I think the woods almost encroaching right up on the path of Thunder Falls, it was almost that was almost detracting from the log flume more than this wooden coaster. And I just think that now it's got like a paired wooden coaster over here. It just enhances the area more, I feel. And you know, I also think too that, you know, with the kind of like the presence of the wooden coaster, I think it cements itself as a Dollywood-esque regional theme park. You know, it's not like it's kind of differentiating itself from a Disney park that, you know, would not really ever have just this exposed wooden coaster. I mean, of course, you know, you've got examples like California Adventure, but I mean like in the sense of like wilderness themed wooden coaster where the supports are all exposed. I think that is kind of what is, you know, separating itself from that and making it more Dollywood-esque believable. And I think just, you know, the more we theme it, the more we get the station going, I think the more it's all gonna tie in with the story of Thunder Falls. And that's what I'm most excited about, getting rid of the woods, just adding that extra layer of land immersion, adding an extra ride. Because, you know, we were talking about before, like the park was a little bit kind of, we were getting on that fringe of, this is just a lot of decoration and not a lot of, it's like it's not packing a lot of punch ride-wise. This is just going to be a park full of theming and trees, but not really a lot of things to go in and ride. And I think that, as far as Wilderness Springs 2.0 goes, that's what we're trying to fix. Not make so much of it implied, but really getting boots on the ground and coming up with some of these different ride designs. And Yan helped me with that, with the big wing coaster you see off to the back, and then of course his barnstormer in the country fair area. You know, all of this is contributing to that believable ride count and to give the guests things to do, you know, kind of designing for that, you know, repeatability, make it to where we would think the guests would want to return, almost getting to that point where they might not be able to do everything in one day. That could be, you know, I think that's pretty interesting as far as the evolution of Wilderness Springs goes. And you know, also just continuing to work on the paths. That comment from like a few months ago, it just like really stuck with me when the guy said, you have a lot of paths going nowhere. Like it's just these long corridors, but no payoff. And I think, you know, that really, really stuck with me. And I wanted to make a correction of that. You know, just jump in and try to make that not what you see when you first come into Wilderness Springs. And I think that is just the turnaround is remarkable from let's say beginning of January, like around Christmas, middle of January, kind of like when we were wrapping up on the park. It is just a stark reminder of kind of burnout and like not ending projects like I ended this. there was no reason, I feel now in hindsight, we couldn't have just took a break. We could have moved over to the resort hotel that's on the beach, you know, the Alani inspired project that we haven't even touched in a long while. I think we could have done that smarter. We could have just said, hey guys, but you know, I was really hardcore in my feelings about not wanting to leave a project before it was done. And I didn't want to get into that Planet Coaster vibe that I did where I would have 7 or 8 projects going at once. I'd have like 2 or 3 parks, a bunch of one-off rides. I had a dark ride going at one point. And I kind of felt like I didn't want to fall into that side of the game, and that's why I think I kind of rushed the ending of this just so we could say Wilderness Springs was done, and I, you know, was jumping into something else. Probably shouldn't have done that. Probably just should have told you guys I'm feeling a little burnt out with it. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna pump the brakes on Wilderness Springs, and we'll come back to it when I feel like building it again. But instead, I kind of just rushed and I just ended the whole series. And you know, that is not how we should have done it, but you know, we're learning. We're all kind of, you know, we're not new to this, this type of vibe and this type of YouTube content, and you know, how it can lend itself to some burnout. But nonetheless, we're back in it. We're making good on Wilderness Springs, and I am still having an absolute blast. And this was a wonderful deviation to, you know, even like a break within a break. Give me a little bit of a break from the log flume. You know, we had that really, really good first video that went out, that good first starter series of it. And now just to jump over to a wooden coaster just out of the blue, thanks to a comment, that felt really, really good as well. You know, like, okay, let's just take a little log flume break and let's mess with a coaster over here. That was just like one of those weirdly good timed, needed comments. So big shout out to Creative123. I hope he gets to catch this episode and know that he was the driving force behind this. But anyways, let's jump into the real time, and we'll take you through this whole area and let you guys just see what you think. So let's jump over there real quick. All right, here we go, guys. So TimberWolf's Revenge. This is, the legend of Thunder Falls' new neighbor. And I just think this sets back here so cool, sets the tone, like right as you're, right when you get past the manor, kind of just seeing it sitting over across the water and with the railroad track in front of it. I just think this would be a killer photo spot right here. You know, like little YouTube bloggers and stuff and theme park photographers would set here, like they would post up here just getting pictures of that. I just think that that worked out so cool. I knew when the trees were deleted right here that I wanted the coaster to interact out here. Like I wanted this to be an element out here on this little peninsula that jutted out with that railroad track interaction. And, right as the guests are coming across the bridge, they're kind of immersed with what's going on, like with this huge coaster right here, just their, feet from it. Here it comes down off the main little lift hill here. Just very, very awesome. Gets you pumping before you even get into the land. And then, of course, the money shot right when you come in. You've got Legend of Thunder Falls off to your left. And, some people were suggesting I switch the station over here to the other side of the mountain. And, that would have been a good idea. But now I think that both of the stations being over on this side will pull people down this path. And, I think it'll work out okay now. You will decide, do I peel off to the left and go on the log flume, or am I over here for TimberWolf's Revenge? And I thought that could be like a cool, like a marketing ploy for TimberWolf's Revenge. Like they use some of the old wood from TimberWolf when they were building the TimberWolf's Revenge, and maybe they used it on some of the handrails in the station and stuff. But yeah, TimberWolf is essentially back, almost in its exact same spot. Remember, TimberWolf, it kind of sat a little over more to the right. TimberWolf kind of sat almost right where the backstage area is and where your Phantom Manor sits at now. So that was kind of like the old TimberWolf area. Oh, let me get you some afternoon vibes. I'm trying to do better. You guys are, or we'll get you some early morning vibes. People are telling me always to make sure I give different lighting perspectives. Love this shot right here. This is like right if you ran from the parking lot in the front gate and you were one of the first ones on Phantom Manor in the morning. And then if you make your way down this little path, TimberWolf's Revenge. And of course, Thunder Falls. Getting some morning sun. Really, really cool. Yan's wing coaster over there. We got to get to theming that eventually as well. This is a really cool shot if you're exiting the rides. You know, exiting either ride. Big wing B&M back there. You can make your way back over to it. You know, essentially the far back corner of the park. Here comes the monorail making an appearance. Early morning guests, early pass holders. That thing is full too. They are coming over. Oh, let's do a room check. Let's do a vibe check from one of the balconies if you were staying at the Great Falls Lodge. Whoops. Little low, little low. All right, let's see if this is at the railing. Oh, a little low still. Oh, yeah. Good morning vibes. Whoops. Get a good look at the traffic, see how crazy things are, see Yan's wing coaster doing its early morning testing. What else can you see? You can kind of peek out Barnstormer from here. Is there a room? Oh, yeah. Here's some closer rooms here. Hold on. We got to get a room. Yeah, get a room out here on the corner. Out here having your coffee first thing in the morning. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Good shot of Barnstormer. You can see the Grizzly Mine way back there in the background. There goes the monorail that you're missing. You're wasting time up here. But, you know, if you're enjoying your coffee, enjoying your breakfast. And, yeah, TimberWolf's Revenge. You can see the top of it. Can't really see, except for the water tower. You cannot see Thunder Falls. But, you know, that's okay. Kind of see the... Yeah, you can see the entrance over there pretty good. But, yeah, this is... kind of like the resort area's main lodge, Great Falls Lodge. So that's kind of where you'd stay and, you know, plan out your day, whether you're going to spend it over at the water park or if you're going to go over to the theme park, or maybe both. Maybe you're a water park in the morning type person and theme park in the evening plans. Like, you know, maybe spend all day at the water park, and then as things get a little darker, get a little later in the evening, come over and grab dinner in the theme park. Shout out to Yan's little turnstiles. But yeah, maybe come over to the park and grab a bite to eat, grab a couple rides, maybe watch a movie over here. Hey, maybe come over and grab you a steak, Silver Spurs. Or maybe just come over and just vibe out, just not ride anything, just kind of take in the sights, maybe ride the train, maybe come over and catch a late evening ride on Phantom Manor. It could be a vibe over here. All right, let's go ahead. We will jump on this real quick. It's not actually guests haven't even been on it yet. So like I said, don't make fun of me too bad. We're just, we're having fun. We're trying to learn. So I thought this was cool. Just kind of like a little, you know, swoop just underneath, back under itself. Ah, we got to get the back of Phantom Manor kind of closed off, because you would see that now. You probably wouldn't see that before unless you were unless you're about to do your dive out of Thunder Falls. There we go. Tried to get my banking suitable for you guys. You guys said my banking was terrible on the original the original TimberWolf. So worked on that a little bit. A little mine section, and then you kind of hit the little trim brake section before you head back into the station. So see, nothing like, you know, nothing too crazy, but for me, like I said, I think that's a pretty good job. Because you guys remember my last foray into coaster building. Oh, cinematic. I hate when it gives us these weird little shots. I get what it's trying to do, but come on, give us a cool shot. These wooden coasters, they are so cool. It's so awesome when you're in Wildwood Grove and you're watching Thunderhead. Man, it is not going to get us any good cinematics here. That kind of sucked. Of course, there's a lot of trees and stuff in the way too, though. I just thought it would get us some cooler shots than that. Whoop, a little bit of lag. In and out of the mine. And hit your brake run. So, you know, I'm tickled. It's, you know, better than I typically do. Oh, let's see. Kind of when you're coming. Let's see what this view's like when you're about to take your plunge. Oh, yeah. Really cool view of TimberWolf's Revenge. Kind of looking out over to the mountain. Very cool. Oh, hold on a minute. I know I do this to you guys all the time. Squirrel. Hold on. I did a little bit of work inside this first little area. Let me take you back to the kind of the daytime shot. Check this out up in here. Hope if I can get up in here. Beware, creature spotted. And I'm kind of working on just this little area before you do that first little dive. Pull out canoes here. Danger, waterfall ahead. Turn back. And they did not turn back. So see, this is like the first little drop off before what is eventually going to take you into the dark ride section. So once you go into the mountain here, it'll kind of just be like a, you know, little traversal area. Hold on, let's just, while we're here, let's just ride this real quick and just see what that indoor scene really looks like. There we go. All right. Wave to your friends. They're down on the bridge watching. Can you see the oh yeah, you can see the lettering good. Creature spotted. Getting a little spooky. Waterfall ahead. Turn back. Oh yeah, we'll need to do some work to the entrance of the, or like the drop area right here. So see, nothing too crazy, just a little drop. But this is where things are going to get interesting. This is where it's going to get a little dark, and you're going to start hearing some noises. So, you know, we're getting there. We are making some progress, and now this was kind of like an unexpected little ride, but I like it. I think it complements Thunder Falls very, very well. You guys will have to let me know what you think. As always, down below, I promise you, I read all of the comments. Like, if you leave me something, I'm reading it. That's why I try to heart it. Like, if I've hearted your comment, I've seen it, I've read it. I don't always get a chance to respond to everybody, but yeah, this is what we got going on right now, guys. Thunder Falls officially has a companion piece. It has a neighbor. So let me know what you think down below, and I'll catch you in the next video.